gonna respond. I'm gonna respond in part to Aug's Facebook post. Not the most recent one, but the second most. And without necessarily getting into specifics, but tying it into the things that I've seen and experienced. The first take your present, current reality, listening to me talk, you're staring into some sort of a screen, right? If you just examine it, look around, see what's around. There's trees, cars, lights, artificial lights, movement. Look inside your body, see what's going on in there. Look inside your mind, see what's going on in there. The very first, I would say, thought to hold with relation to all of this information, the one of, not the, I'm not gonna say there's one thought that's gonna keep you correct, but a strong method is to examine your current timeline reality as experienced through the senses, through the mind, through the emotions, through the body. Whatever awareness you have with you, as you. Just check out every aspect that you can see or think about or hear or anything that you can touch with your mind. Check it out and feel if any part is pulling at you. Any part of your reality, is it pulling? Is it yanking? Is any fear doing anything? Is any desire doing anything? Look at your projection system. Is that doing stuff? Thoughts of past and future, that's a projection system. Is that moving? Is it doing things? Anytime that something in your current, present reality is pulling on you, your power is being given away somehow, or it's being taken away somehow. And the vast majority of these things that suck on you are invisible. And they made themselves invisible because they don't want you to know about them, because they like their food, obviously. So if you check it out, if you look into it and find if anything's pulling on you, that's where you have work to do. If you find yourself fretting about some future thing, you have work to do. If something outside is playing the special card, like saying, hey, I'm over here, I'm more special than like a street lamp, you know? Say it's just being exceptionally bright and it's bugging you. And you can't tell exactly why, but for some reason it's more annoying or more bothersome to your consciousness than all the other street lamps. well, there's something that you need to work on. You need to find, why is that street lamp being so loud? It's being loud for a reason. And that's just a phenomenal. Checking out whether something in the phenomenal is pulling at you is still, I mean, like Aug said in his post today, that everything that he's gone over up till now is, what do you call it? It's like a very base format for understanding all of this. It's like preschool or something. And this has been going on. He's been releasing stuff for, I don't know, a couple years. I've been talking for like nearly 2 years. So if something is pulling at you and you don't know why, but you feel it, or you see it, or you hear it, even if you have something deep inside of your body somewhere that's pulling or hooking or making movements even, that means that you have something to work on. And simply by giving it attention, shine the light of your awareness onto that thing, whatever it is that's, you know, being a squeaky wheel or something. The more awareness that you have within your moment, the more that simply giving attention to something that's throwing a tantrum in your reality will help resolve it properly. Not like, that tree over there is making too much noise, so I'm gonna go like kick it. I'm not saying that. You just go find the tree and find out what's up. It's telling you something. And then once you resolve the issue with the tree will go back to being a normal tree that's not yelling. And as far as essence harvesting, I guess you could call it, the essence, like your energy essence, your blueprint that you carry around with you, as far as that being harvested, it's multi-leveled, multi-layered in how that happens, but it starts off with taking your attention somehow, some way, and diverting it. If your attention is always firmly in the seat of the present moment, always, then something can't just swoop in and, you know, yank it out. It can't just, you know, hold up the beer cup and then open the tap, which is you, and pour itself a beer, because you'll see it coming from 10,000 miles away. And then not only that, but all of your help, your guidance system, which is, a lot of it is non-local, most of it's non-local, all of that will also have seen the thing coming from 1,000 different eyes, and it will have been dealt with before it even started to make one movement. And if it is allowed to make a movement, then that movement will be incorporated into the proper unfoldment of your self as it navigates through the phenomenal plane. That you become quiet inside, the more you open yourself up to your support system, which you don't see with your eyeballs. in phenomenal world, or Muji's changeful world, you don't see it. You just see stuff moving around and people doing things, and sky does stuff. Every once in a while, a direct energy weapon is directed at something. But for the most part, you don't see the thing. You see like the phenomenal, which is not the thing. It's residue. Phenomenal is residue of the thing. The thing being like the life essence. But for someone who's sort of new to this, as far as human essence being farmed, if you want to find what is the muscle that turns the wheel that squirts out essence so it can be farmed, it's projection. A lot of it is just projection. Casting your mind out to the future and casting it back to the past. And the future, for those who have been living in the projection system mainly, is just recycled past. It's not even anything new or interesting. And most people that are not somewhere on the spectrum of awakening don't even know that the future and the past is some form of mental. It's some mental thing. It's not like a reality thing. It's a way of dreaming yourself into a different phenomenal plane. And the way that the humans have been degraded has been such that when humans are casting their desires and fears out forward and backward, it's been entrained to such an extent that you have the whole realm looking like it's turning into like a machine or something. And everybody's doing the same thing. They're all dressing the same way. They're all caring about things like professional sports, and conveniently overlooking every single possible dastardly thing that's going on underneath the surface, maybe like 1 inch underneath the surface. And yet, the longer that the collective ignores this thing that's 1 inch underneath, the more it leaks out to the surface, which we see now. It's progress, right? America, the land of the dreams or whatever. And San Francisco is as dirty as it's ever been. It's dirtier now than it was 15 years ago. The homelessness is worse now than it's ever been. Needles everywhere. You see, like, the hypocritical, image-oriented society can only carry itself so far till it implodes. And then, voila, the neggy-neggies have a reason to incite war, because everybody's at their wits' end and at their nerves' end, and they're frazzled, and they're not sitting they're not sitting in their center. They're all out there, and they're ready. They're like ticking time bombs. And if everybody's entrained in enough of these voodoo spells are cast, or whatever, however they do it, then the cascading effect that leads to some form of violence will cascade itself on out. And I think most of us know what happens when that happens. Now, of course, if you have enough aware people in a locale, and say the herd is trying to make a stampede or something, the aware person is more powerful than like 50 herds, so it's unlikely for that to even happen around someone who's aware. But there is some power in the sort of Borg doing stuff. There's just not a lot. But at the same time, as we're hopefully maintaining some sort of a lid on the collective going nuts, at the same time, we also need to be able to have some sort of life at the same time, and not be suppressed and gaslighted and targeted and whatever. Everybody knows what it is. It's gone on forever, and everybody's at different levels of it. And I mean, your way out of that, if you're in that, if you're in entrainment, if you're in targeting the targeted individual stuff, if you're in still in fear programs, if you're still in recursive thought loop reality, if you're still in the false void as far as that being your backdrop for this current reality, if you're in any of those things, then you're simply vulnerable and you're prime target for these devious, insidious forces. And actually, those of us who are in that sort of unaware state, and we're just kind of being batted back and forth by the boogie monsters or the demigods and all their minions, they're actually being taken care of by everybody else, and everybody else knows exactly where they're at, how they're at, what's going on with them, and giving support to them, even though many times in these states, especially the ones that are entrained, they're just getting ready to demonize somebody or burn some witches or something, and they don't realize even what's going on, even in the slightest. And for some people like that, there's nothing to do about it. Because the entrainment is so deep, the programming is so deep that it's the Orwellian doublespeak that goes and goes and goes in the subconscious and the psyche. And if they get into an argument or something, then their sense of self, or they probably haven't even found that yet, but even they'll just end up looking bewildered. They'll either get into a fist fight and just go nuts, or they'll end up looking just absolutely bewildered, like, I don't even know where I am, and I don't know what this is, and I don't know. That's what happens. And also, there's a high chance that the things that we're discussing, when Aug talks about stuff, it sounds like some fantasy novel, and I know when I talk about things, it sounds similar, but with my own twist on it. And it may seem like, they're just going like, why does it need to be this complicated? If I look outside, I don't really see that much going on, I don't see wars happening, I don't see, people beating the shit out of each other, I don't see hellhounds dragging people down into lower dimensions and all this stuff. You might have that sort of a feeling. And all I can say is that there are levels and levels and levels of false senses of security. And there are ancient forces that know not higher mind. When you gain access to your own higher mind, that's not there are firewalls built into that. But if you're in the mechanical lower ego mind, these ancient forces, or ancient AI, or whatever you want to call it, the parasite, doesn't matter. They know every last nook and cranny of that thing. Every. And they don't. That force does not show itself to you. It's not just like, hello, here I am. I'm here to eat your soul, or I'm here to gobble down your spirit, or I'm here to try and blow up the universe. It doesn't say that. It's quiet. It's like a whisper in the night. It's like a dark devil whisper that shudders through the whole landscape. And the only way that you can say, oh, this isn't serious, this is just life. Like, life just contains all these things and I'm simply here. The only way you can say that, really, is if you have gone and understood that at the deepest level it is just energy. Your body, you, everything around you is just energy. And like whoever said it, Einstein or something, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, and everything is energy. So yes, there is not some like way to just do away with everything. There's only a way to change forms. There's a way to look like you're destroying something, but everything is just changing forms. So that's the only possible way that you could sort of rationalize that maybe it's not so serious or something, or maybe I can kick back. And I'm not saying you should never kick back. We all need breaks every once in a while. But there's once you've caught a glimpse, then you're just in it, and there's no it is what it is. Sometimes the quieter that your life or your world or the realm appears, there's a possibility that the things or the other is cooking up something, masterful to throw across your way. Like, there is certainly wisdom in staying vigilant every single moment. Like, why would you take a break from that? Number one, when you're staying vigilant every single moment, it means you're staying present, which means you're retaining your energy rather than letting it leak out every which way. So that's good already. But number two, when you're staying vigilant, they can't just come and attack you. They can't just come and, push you off into another dimension and laugh or something, Anyway.